Hello, you guys. I hope that you are okay. I hope that you have been doing your work, having fun, living your life. Never doing homeworks from me because I never give you homeworks. Today we are going to continue reading. Today we are going to read in your class textbook. We are going to read page 12 and 13. 12 and 13. Okay. So in your notebook, we are going to write, as always, the date and the topic, so we can start. Let's start. So we are going to write in here, reading 6th grade. And then today is Tuesday, October, is it 7th? Yep. Oh, it's not Tuesday. It's a Wednesday. Let me check my schedule. Yep. Sorry. My mistake. Let's do this again. Reading 6th grade. Today is Wednesday, right? Yeah. October 7th, 2020. And then the topic, a growing plan. Okay? So we have reading 6th grade. Today is Wednesday, October 7th, 2020, and a growing plan that is going to be our title. Let's start. We are going to go, oh sorry, I didn't write the names of the pages. Pages 12 and 13. Remember that the next page, the first page is always the story, and the other one is the activities. And as much as this is 6th grade, some of the activities are going to be done by yourself, some are going to be done by me, so you can be practicing analyzing skills and some independency, so you can do your work by yourself. Let's start. A growing plan. Does your school have a garden? Not ours. Drew, Emilio, and Michi sat at a picnic table in the park on a beautiful, crisp fall afternoon. The air around them was filled with the sounds of children playing, dogs barking, and people laughing or calling to one another. But Drew, Emilio, and Michi ignored the sounds around them and focused on the task they had set out to complete. So it was a beautiful day in the park, something that we're not able to do lately because we have to be at home, but it's a beautiful experience. But they have a task and they have something that they should do. They wanted to start a school garden at Jefferson Middle School initially. It had been Drew's idea. He had first seen a school garden when he went to visit his cousin PJ in Washington. He was amazed at the variety of fruits and vegetables the students at PJ's school grew. It's a lot of work, PJ had warned, but it's also my favorite part of the week. I love putting on my boots, getting outside, and seeing all the new things that have happened since I was last out there. So, they were trying to grow a lot of vegetables and a lot of fruits in the garden. And it was a lot of work because in the States you have to put on boots, and they're rubber boots so you don't get muddy and you don't get bugs in your feet or in your clothes, and it's a whole work. Paragraph number 3. When Drew returned from his trip to Washington, he told Emilio and Michi all about what he had seen. Now the three of them were determined to come up with a plan to bring a school garden to Jefferson. Drew opened his notebook and prepared to record any ideas they had for convincing Miss Milano, the school principal, that garden was a good idea. We're going to need an adult to supervise the whole operation, said Drew thoughtfully. I know that Mr. Hasselback gardens at home. Just last week he brought in a whole basket of tomato and zucchini from his garden. He might be willing to help. Drew jotted down Mr. Hasselbalch's name in his notebook. We might need donations to get this project up running, added Michi. We could tell Miss Milano that we could be willing to organize a bake sale or jar sale to raise funds. So they were trying to raise monies because obviously they're going to need shovels, they're going to need pikes, they're going to need seeds, they're going to need compost, a lot of things that require for them to have a garden. That is a great idea, said Emilio. I think we need to be able to present her with a realistic plan. My aunt is the co-owner of a nursery. She could help us design the garden, select plants, and create a budget. That way, Miss Milano wouldn't feel as thought she were committing to something unknown. Drew nodded and made some more notes. PJ mentioned that the students at his school cook meals with the produce from their garden. If we do something like that too, think of all the lessons we'll learn and follow a recipe. So they were already planning to cook something with the things that they were getting from the garden. Combine that with the science lessons we'd get from working in the garden, and there's no way Miss Milano could turn us down. Michi and Emilio grinned. If everything goes as planned, we'll be digging in the dirt in no time at all. So as you can see in the illustration, they're very happy because they're trying to plan how are they gonna make this garden happen. In the next page, we have the activity of all the things that they are going to do. So what I want you to do right now is to start reading that, and I can read it then. At some points, I'm going to give you things that you need to read by yourself and you need to analyze by yourself. I'll give you a couple seconds. Give me a second, guys. I'm back. Just kidding. Okay, ready? Okay. Page 13. The point of view. The point of view tells the reader whose view of the story he or she is reading. In first person point of view, the reader knows that the thoughts or feelings of the person telling the story. In third person point of view, the reader only knows what the outsider knows of a character. Mark each phrase below F if it's for first person and T for third person. So, something that is easier to understand is the following. If the story is being told by the person that is living the story, that is the first person. I'm going to tell you an example. For an example, if I'm telling the story of James and the beanstalk, I would say, once upon a time, I was living with my mother, or with my aunt, or with my grandma, and she sent me to trade a cow for food or for money, but I didn't do that. Instead, I found a man that gave me a bag of beans so I could plant them, and he told me that they were magical. So I went and I planted them in the garden, and my mom was very angry. But I realized that a beanstalk grows through the night. So I went up the beanstalk and I found the giant. But also there was a goose, and the goose had magical golden eggs. So, as much as I'm telling you, I went, I did, I said, and I lived, that is first person, because I was living the experience of the story. But in the other hand, if I tell you, once upon a time, James was living with his mother, and his mother sent him to change a cow for money or for food, but instead he changed it for magical beans that he planted. He went. So I'm telling you the experience of someone else, not me. So third person would be someone telling the story of something that is happening, not yourself. So first person, you're living the story. Third person is someone else is living the story, you're just telling it. So in there, we need to mark if it's first person or if it's third person, the ones that are living the story. Let's go. My cousin PJ lives in Washington. So what do you think? My cousin PJ, what do you think that means? Are you living that experience? If you read it out loud, my cousin PJ, are you living the story or you telling the story of someone? You have to choose. First, for you living the story, T for third person if someone else is living the story. Number 2, Emilio's aunt is the co-owner of a nursery. Now, I'm telling, or someone is telling, Emilio's aunt. So who is telling the story in here? I mean, I'm watching the story happen, but am I part of that? Emilio's aunt is the co-owner. Are you part of that story? If you're part of that story, then F for first person, or T if you're not part of the story for third person. Number 3, Mr. Hasselback has a vegetable garden. Now, who is telling the story? Who is living this story? Mr. Hasselback has a vegetable garden. Are you part of that story? Are you involved in Mr. Hasselback's life? If not, it's third person, but if you are, it's first person. And last, I hope Miss Milano likes our idea. I hope. That means that you are part of the story, so more than likely it's a first person thing. Number 5. What problem do Drew, Emilio, and Michi have at the beginning of the story? Let's go back to the story. They wanted a school garden in paragraph 2. It's a lot of work. Okay, in paragraph 3. They wanted to have a garden in their school. Oh, number 5. We're going to need an adult to supervise the whole operation. So at the beginning, they wanted to have a garden, but they have one problem. They need adult supervising. So you can write in there, complete sentences or your classwork is not going to be correct. Drew, Emilio, and Michi's problem is that they need supervision because they cannot do it alone. You can go back to the paragraph if you need to. Number 6. Where did Drew get the idea to start a school garden in his middle school? You can answer. Drew got the idea to start a garden in his middle school from, the answer is, in paragraph number 2. He had first seen a school garden when he went to visit his cousin PJ in That's the answer. Number 8. Oh, number 7. How do Drew, Emilio, and Michi know that Mr. Hasselback has a garden at home? If you don't remember, Mr. Hasselback brought some zucchinis and tomatoes to school, so you can write in there. Drew, Emilio, and Michi know that Mr. Hasselback has a garden at home because one day he brought a basket full with and Number 8. Name 2 ideas that the students have that they think will make Miss Milano more likely to approve their plan. I'm going to tell you where this answer is. Yeah, paragraph number 8. It mentions all the reasons, so you have to number them. It says that you have to number 2 ideas. You can number 1, this. Number 2, this. Write the idiom from paragraph 8 on the next line to its meaning. So an idiom, we have talked before, it's a phrase as a regional phrase from a place that it belongs to the culture. In Spanish, we have el que con lobos anda aullar aprende, al que madruga Dios lo ayuda, etc., etc., etc. So, in this case, an idiom in English is something that we would struggle to understand because it's not part of our culture, but they're giving us the meaning. It says, to start something. So if we go back to the story, I'm going to tell you in what paragraph are you going to find it. Oh. Number 9, Michi and Emilio grinned. If everything goes as planned, we'll be digging in the dirt in no time at all. That doesn't, oh well, I mean, that means that they're gonna be digging, well, let me see. Oh, we might need donation to get this project up and running. Up and running could be a good way to exemplify to start something. Just saying. What is the setting of the story? The setting of the story is the place where the story happens. The example that I was giving you for James and the Beanstalk happens in a small town because everything happens in that area. But in this case, they are in a specific place. What are these kids? You can get some ideas from the illustrations. You can write. The setting of the story is number 11. Would you like to have a garden at your school or at home? Why or why not? Personally, I would, so I can write, I would love to have a garden at home because it's pretty, because I could have flowers, because it makes the house smell good, but it attracts a lot of bugs and I'm afraid of scorpions, centipedes and stuff. So no garden for me. But that's my own answer. You can make your own answer. So far that's it. Remember that you're allowed to print pages on reading. Also, you are allowed to copy everything in your notebook if you want, so that's up to you. But I need everything answered in complete sentences or you're not gonna have all the points because I read all the answers. So make sure that you answer everything on time. Make sure that everything is answered complete, and remember to go back and forth into the story to know it. I just realized that exams are coming very soon, so if I was you, I would be doing my job on time. So remember to always have your book at hand when you're doing this task, and you have 24 minutes to finish the task and be free. See you guys. Bye.